get to that forecast here for you. So you may have heard, I posted about it on my Facebook page. So there's that 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Russia, this far eastern Russia in the North Pacific, west of the Bering Sea, the strongest earthquake since 2011 that happened in Japan. And as far as earthquakes go on Earth, it is tied for the 6th strongest. It did put out some waves in the Pacific. There were tsunami warnings for Hawaii. Thankfully, it didn't get that bad. It looks like I saw some reports of some like 3-foot waves. But that seismograph right there, that graph that you see, that was at Indiana University, Bloomington. They have a seismograph there, and it picked it up all the way over here in Indiana and Kentucky. And that was like, I think at around 7:36 that it was picking it up. So shaking around the world. Of course, we don't feel it here, but the sensitive measurements do. And Barbara Haas, good morning. Not like Florida. They have an ocean. That is very true. Again, just keep in mind some of the safety tips. Do what we've been doing to keep cool out there. Our play ball forecast, 90 by noon today, 95 the afternoon. Let's go ahead and make that feel like 105. Again, just like yesterday, upper 80s around 8 p.m. I'm going to go about a 0% chance of rain today. There could be maybe a little tiny isolated pop-up, but super small chance of that. And Beverly Haga saying, I'm glad the tsunami did not get big. My son was not far from Seattle, Washington. Yeah, it's awesome to see that it didn't get too bad. UV index 10 today. We're back to a 10. Easy sunburn within about 20 minutes or shorter. So remember some of that sun protection out there for today, and moderate levels of our weed pollen as we get closer to the peak of the ragweed season. Your July 30th forecast summary here, 95, heat index 105, very light breeze out there, if anything. Probably not the best air quality. I have a little surface ozone building up. And 8:54, our sunset time for this evening. For tonight, 77, and it's still very muggy out there as the AC continues to do its best. And tomorrow's forecast, we'll call this our day of change. Good comment here, Erica, as we can't wait for the relief. And that's what we're talking about big time here today. So tomorrow's kind of the day of change as we have the front moving through. And then we're going to feel that change. And it's going to be refreshing. You're going to like it. Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday not feeling too bad either. So tomorrow morning, maybe an isolated shower. It looks like that rain chance ramping up midday and into the afternoon as some scattered showers and thunderstorms moving in. Not concerned about severe weather, but you might get a good downpour or some lightning and thunder with this. Our sun up at 6:44. You may notice the later sun rises and the earlier sunsets at 8:53 for tomorrow. Going 88. It will still be humid tomorrow. We're not getting that shot of dry air until Friday. And look at those highs. Feast your eyes on that. Like our coolest spell of weather since mid-June, it looks like, with 82 Friday. Hallelujah for your August 1st. And down to 61 Friday night. Would not be surprised if some areas in the countryside and some of the low-lying areas even dip down to the maybe upper 50s Friday night. So this would be some great camping weather. The lake and the rivers and the pools are warm. Perfect outside this weekend. Hopefully you can get out. I'm going to try to swing the clubs Friday evening and get out on the golf course a little bit. But Saturday, 83, good weather to catch up on some yard work too. 85 on Sunday. And then as we go into next week, as we start to add a little more moisture to the air, the dew points start to go up and it starts to feel more like summer again. And that'll also lead us to maybe a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms next Tuesday and Wednesday. So that is the forecast. We're going to take a look at the weather model data. We're going to, as we load that up here in just one moment, and taking a look here at, I'm going to remove that, add that, and a reminder here at extolmag.com/weather. Of course, all our weather resources. If you go down here to the interactive radar, it's not just a radar. You can also plop on the temperatures, which are making their way into the 80s. Which is no surprise. And where's the rain? That is, look at all those lightning strikes there. So that is moving into northwestern Illinois towards Peoria and then heading toward St. Louis, it looks like, with a big area of rain there. So they have been busy this summer. The closer to kind of to the edge of the heat wave up in the upper Midwest, they've been having rounds of showers and thunderstorms. Erica in with the positivity. Wow, a great weekend forecast. You got it. Probably the best, maybe the best we've had all summer long, because again, we haven't had this amount of dry air since probably mid-June. So probably the best weekend forecast that we've had so far this summer. And so we will take that. All right, let me go and load up the program that will give us the weather model data here. And I'm going to bring up first. We'll look at some current conditions. We're going to look at again, the SAT-RAD, pretty quiet, but there you can see the unsettled weather to the north. So that's kind of along that front that's going to drop toward our direction for tomorrow afternoon. Look at the current temperatures out there as we wait for that to load up. Big happies in the house. Cheers to you if you're watching from the back deck, the front porch, inside the house, outside the house, maybe at work. We've got the black coffee again this morning. Dark roast, no cream, no sugar. We're raw dogging that coffee this morning. All right. Okay, let me see if that one didn't want to load up. Let me see here. There we go. Current temperatures. Hey, Ed. Hey, Kraft. Thanks for watching our show here at Ben at 10 this morning. All right, so there is the front, guys. Let me bring this up full screen and give you an easier view of this. So this has got a line right here. And that, my friends, is the front. You can see north of that, 60s, 50s, and then south of that, 80s. This would be the heart of the heat wave right there, already 90 in some areas in the lower Mississippi Valley. We've been on the edge of that heat wave. And so this is clearly where they've got more unsettled weather. When you're right in smack there in the middle of these two air masses, cooler north, warmer south, that's the battleground. That's where you get some unsettled weather. All right, so that's the current setup there with the temperatures. But what's a bigger deal for us this time of the year is the dew point, that measure of water content in the air. We want to get that down, and we are going to get that down Friday. Still going to be a bit muggy for tomorrow, though. And we've got Perry Porter here. I'm thinking about going to the Jackson County Watermelon Festival. Loving the watermelon. We just had a fresh watermelon in the house this week. So that's going to be a perfect weekend for that. Thanks, Perry, for letting us know about that. Again, I don't know every event that's happening, so please let us know if there's some more festivals, events happening. I think that we've got the Street Rod Festival happening in Louisville this weekend. Should be fantastic for that. Check out all those awesome hot rods out there, street rods, I should say. So this is the dew point map. You got dew points up to 70 in Chicago, and then you've got that drier air. We're starting to see it in reality here. So, you know, since last week, we have been talking and teasing about this dry air, and I'm thankful that it's actually going to happen, because there were a couple times, if you remember watching this show, you know, we're looking at like a week or two out, saw some dry air, some relief on the way, and it just never won the battle. So it looks like we're getting some evidence of that dry air starting to push farther to the south. So if you look here as we go full screen, this is the air that's going to win out for us. So you're looking at dew points here in the 70s and dew points here in the 50s and 40s. So this is going to eventually move south early Friday, and we're going to notice that incredible change across the area. So that is the setup here for us. Now let's get into our future radar. And if you're wondering about storms, because of this front that'll move through for tomorrow, again, I'm not really concerned about any severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has a level 1, the lowest level of severe weather to our north, under that darker green color there over northern Indiana, Illinois, and into Missouri. That's even a very low threat of severe weather. Severe weather threat goes way down this time of the year, mid to late summer. because you've got the heat, but you don't have the wind energy for severe weather overall. So this is the day 2, so we are not under a risk of severe weather. The light green just indicates garden variety, pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And then day 3 is into Friday, obviously no severe weather threat. In fact, it shows no severe weather threat over the entire continental United States. We're up to 10:20 here as we go into our future radar. And I think this is going to get a little bit interesting for tomorrow as we time this out for you. If you have some plans tomorrow, maybe this will help you prepare for the higher potential of rain. You can see it picking up very well on the active weather to the north here. Let me push this a little bit forward. And it's lagging just a little bit. Some of that rain already in northwestern Illinois and Missouri. So this is a couple hours behind of what's happening in reality. But for today, as we go into the afternoon, it looks like that active weather will stay north of us. The model's not picking up on any precipitation in our area for this afternoon. So that's just going to let us bake and sizzle under that sunshine today. That's why we had that UV index up to a very high level of 10. So I'm going to go into this evening. This is now after sunset, and that weather stays to the north of us. Going into tomorrow morning, as that front gets closer to the area, there you can see that rain developing north of I-70. Dennis Gregory coming in from Bedford, Indiana. Yay for the cooler weather tomorrow. A little bit cooler. We still got the humidity, Dennis, tomorrow, but you're really going to notice that change for Friday. But the clouds and the rain chances should keep us in the upper 80s tomorrow, but still a bit on the humid side. We'll look at that humidity tracker, I'll call it, here in just a second. So this is going into midday tomorrow with a look at our future radar. So this is noon tomorrow. So starting to pick up that chance on the models here of some rain dropping in. It's going to be coming in from north to south. So you're looking at areas around Highway 50, Seymour, Bedford, Brownstown, Mitchell, North Vernon, getting that first chance of rain. Late morning, early afternoon, might get that there. John Fox, thanks for tuning in this morning. Good morning to you, sir. And out of the full screen mode we go. We'll bump this ahead to 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And this is the NAM 3 kilometer. And we'll look at the HRRR high resolution rapid refresh weather model here in just a second. But there you can see that rain chance per this weather model ramping up here as we head into the afternoon hours. We're looking at the potential of some tropical downpours, lightning and thunder, maybe some brief gusty winds. To get a damaging wind gust this time of the year, you kind of need these storms to collapse. And when they collapse, they can put down a little downburst wind, which can sometimes do a little tree, power line damage. But again, severe weather not expected with this. That would be a very low threat. And Christian Walker with a good morning. Thanks for all the good mornings, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching our show this morning, too. And then we'll go into late afternoon. This is now 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. There you can see a scattering of some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. And not a bad thing to get some rainfall. Keeping the growing season on fire here for us. A lot of the corn is super tall. It can just nonstop grow with this water in the ground and these very warm temperatures in the afternoon and the nighttime. If we've got any farmers in the house, give us that farm report as well, whether I know anything about what I'm talking about or not. As we go into tomorrow night, this is at 9 p.m. It looks like southern Indiana will start to dry things out first, and then Kentucky will linger with that shower chance. I want to go into our August 1st, Friday morning. This is around 8 a.m. So that front is moving south, and that is when we start to feel better. We're starting to see those dropping dew points here Friday morning. So showing 50s dew points in Indiana, and then just a little bit muggier the farther south you go for Friday. But all of us throughout Kentucky and Indiana are going to be feeling the refreshing change for Friday. That is a mega change from dew points in the mid 70s to dew points that are 15 to 20 degrees cooler. You're just taking a lot of the moisture out of the air. So I think we're all looking forward to this. I don't think one of you watching is going to be sad about this change on the way. So we look at the precipitable water, and this shows just a better contrast of this air mass change. So we're getting this drier Canadian air mass to move into the region. And so this is what we've been promising, what we've been talking about for almost 2 weeks. I've been blogging about it, writing about it. Finally, it's good to see the reality starting to show up. But there you can see Friday morning, that tropical air being pushed to the south. Get rid of that there. And there's not much wind in the atmosphere, but I'm just trying to see if we get a little bit of the upper level winds to show up. There's not much, again, wind at this time of the year in the atmosphere. All right, so that is the awesome change on the way. Now, as I mentioned, I do want to bring up the HRRR weather model, the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh weather model. I feel like it does a little bit better than the NAM 3 kilometer overall, and it does update more rapidly. And so this is this morning. It is picking up very well in the showers and thunderstorms to the northwest. As we head into this afternoon, it too is all dry for us. Some little pop-ups there over the Appalachians, and then up to the northwest, the rain there in Illinois. So not impacting us for today. Again, we're just going to be in the atmospheric oven this afternoon with a heat advisory. This is the 48-hour version of the HRRR, so this will take us into tomorrow. So this is through 9 p.m. We're dry. I'm going to stop this tomorrow morning if you're up and out early, around 7, 8 o'clock. Okay, now we're starting to see something here, getting closer to our area. And then as we go a little bit late morning, midday, like the NAM 3 kilometer, starting to see that little rain chance first over parts of southern Indiana. We'll go into around midday, early afternoon. It's got a drier solution. We'll see what happens with this tomorrow afternoon than the NAM 3 kilometer. But it does have at least some activity around the area. I think we'll see it. I think we'll see a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms than what the HRRR is putting out here for tomorrow afternoon. It's just got some little stuff passing through. And this takes us into the last portion. So if there was a lingering shower early Friday, it looks like that'll be downstate Kentucky, closer to the Tennessee state line. Dew point map here at 8 a.m. Friday with the HRRR weather model. It also has 50s dew points. It's going to feel like up in the Great Lakes, that kind of refreshing air if you've ever taken a trip up there in the summertime. Cincinnati over to North Vernon, Scott. Well, that's what's kind of interesting with this as we bring this up full screen. So even with our area, kind of county by county here Friday morning, notice this wedge of even drier air up around Bedford, Seymour, Versailles, Scottsburg, Madison, Indiana. So you're looking at even drier air there. Still going to be very nice all over the region, but kind of a little wedge of even more refreshment there, just off to the northeast. So we get out of the full screen view there. So that's showing, again, lower 50s dew points for Friday morning. Lower 60s, we'll take that all day long. And then just a bit muggier, again, closer to the Tennessee and Kentucky state line down that direction. All right. So that is that. We'll go to the GFS long-range weather model. And I'm going to switch this over to back to reflectivity. So after a dry weekend, I'm going to go to August the 3rd. That's going to be our Sunday afternoon. And it does look mostly dry across the area for our Sunday. August 5th, as we head into our next work week, starting to pick up on maybe an isolated pop-up, and that is going to correlate with the return of some moisture. It's not out of control. The tropical air is still down around Florida, but as you notice this yellow and green, that's dew points probably getting back up into the 60s. So we're going to start to feel the increasing dew points there as we head into early next week. So yeah, that's showing dew points back into the upper 60s and 70s as we go to early next week. So that's going to mean some warmer nights as well after some phenomenal weather starting off our first August weekend. Let me go back to the reflectivity here for next week as we kind of plan out our next good rain chances for next week. And we'll go to August 5th. So that's going to be Tuesday next week. A lot of kids back to school all around the region. Thankfully, though, Borden Henryville, where my son goes, he doesn't go back till I think next Tuesday, August 5th, right here. So that's going to bring, you can notice here on our August 5th that we have the return of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Might have a little kind of disturbance moving through in that muggier air returning. And as we're going to 1 week from now, August 6th, Wednesday, we're on the Ben on a Limb segment here as we look at the long range outlook, also showing a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. So this shows that we are not in any threat of drought conditions across the region, as we'll continue to see some rain chances into next week. And again, this is the interactive radar at extolmag.com/weather. I was going to go up here and look at the alerts because there are just a ton, again, of heat alerts around the region. As we zoom in a little bit closer here, might be hard to see if you're on your phone, but just west of us, but it does include Grayson County, so Lilly and Lasley, I know you're from there, and then Breckenridge County, Perry County in Indiana, and Du Bois counties are under the extreme heat warning. So the pink right there that you see. And then the rest of us are under a heat advisory that we've been under, I think, since last Thursday. I think this is day 7 that we've had heat advisories across the area. So I do think we're like right around record muggiest summer thus far. And what I mean by that, we haven't had record high temperatures. We've had summers where we've been in the hundreds for weeks. Not record high temperatures, but record moisture levels of the atmosphere, as we just haven't really had any significant fronts to move through like we will have tomorrow. So we've had just, that leads to near record warm night stretches and high dew points. So just the longest stretch of muggy weather, which